Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2595 Guardian 1. The story was over, and Elon Freeman's eyes were filled with reminiscence. Yang Xinshin slowly said, "So, you later became the richest person because you transformed the technology there into a marketable product." She discovered from historical records that in that era, this young man from Ivania rose rapidly in a short period of time, creating numerous technological products and becoming one of the world's top technology giants. Many people suspect that he either obtained alien technology or was a chosen one, because those explosive technological achievements have completely revolutionized many areas of human technology. Looking back now, everything makes sense. I used every technology one could think of. In fact, I started deliberately learning these technologies as soon as I knew I would return to Earth one day. Freeman shrugged, his expression a mixture of helplessness and smugness. You should know that once cutting-edge technology is demonstrated, money will naturally flow in. But money is not my goal. What I ultimately want to do is build a spacecraft that can go to Mars. The wind from the Martian world whistled through the ruined towers, like scattering the dust of an entire city down your throat. The artificial celestial bodies in the distance lost their light, making the sky appear even colder. After listening to the story told by the former tech tycoon, Luke Heron's eyes lit up like lamps. "There's still something I don't understand. You were only unconscious for a short while on Earth, but 7 years have passed here. How does that timeline make sense?" Upon hearing this, Zhang Yi and Yang Xinshin also looked at Freeman, which was something they were also curious about. Freeman adjusted his exaggeratedly large hat brim, and a line of slight noise flashed across the screen before returning to clarity. The body resides in a three-dimensional world, while time is four-dimensional. However, human consciousness originates from a higher dimension. In other words, my consciousness traveled for 7 years in a higher dimension, but when I returned to my three-dimensional physical body, only half a year had passed. Zhou Kur frowned, carefully trying to understand Freeman's words. This account of dimensions and time comes from the elder of the Sandstalker civilization mentioned by Freeman. This certainly requires careful analysis. Yang Xinshin explained it to everyone simply. Simply put, his consciousness has traversed time and space. Therefore, in this dimension, time cannot be measured by common sense. As someone who has personally experienced time travel, Zhang Yi is better able to understand Freeman's story. He glanced at Freeman and pointed his finger in the air. "Then the world you went to might not be Mars as it is now. It might be hundreds or even thousands of years ago." He squinted, his gaze becoming complicated, and before he knew it, tears were welling up in his eyes. Only human longing can transcend time and space. He began to understand everything and learn the secret of his rebirth. Freeman's screen narrowed as if he were smiling. "I tend to agree with that assessment. For you, Mars is just a coordinate in three-dimensional space. For me, it's a ladder of time." Zhang Yi's gaze deepened, as if he were pressing a long-overdue puzzle piece into the gap. He thought to himself, "So, my ability to go back to the past wasn't just luck. It was because I awakened the space-time attribute before I died, and my mind traveled through time and space." Yang Xinshin recorded the conversation, her voice steady. "Your initial ambition was to use the advanced civilization of Mars to cure the diseases of Earth's civilization. But when you actually arrived on Mars, you found that this civilization had already perished. Were you disappointed at that time?" Freeman's screen remained silent for a long time, with only the sound of wind behind him. "I still think it's the answer I'm looking for. The existence of the answer will not disappear just because the books that record the questions are burned. The Sandslayer civilization is far more advanced than human civilization. Noschi promised me that we would meet in the future. So I believe that she is waiting for me somewhere." He looked into the distance, at that unreachable space, at the towering Tonong Tower that reached the heavens and the earth. She must be there. Even if all that remains is her thoughts and will, she must be waiting for me there. Zhang Yi raised an eyebrow and subconsciously glanced at Ling beside him. The behavior of the Sand Raiders' civilization sounds so similar to that of the Aihen clan, who abandoned the physical bodies of their entire race and sent their spirits into the heavenly palace. Ling sensed Zhang Yi's question and said dismissively, "Different paths, same destination, that's all." Avoiding the calamities of epical cycles is the ultimate goal that almost all civilizations have been striving for. Choosing to isolate oneself and detach from the physical body is a method not only the Aihen tribe would do. Or perhaps it was an imitation of the Aihen tribe by later generations. Freeman continued, "So later, I began to search. To find a way into the Sky Tower area, and also to find the reason for the destruction of the Sand Raider civilization. I believe that once all of this is understood, it will have tremendous guiding significance for the fate of mankind." Freeman said with burning eyes. Zhang Yi nodded slightly and held out his palm. "So, did you find it?" Freeman suddenly raised his hat brim by an inch, as if joking but also inviting. "Let's go. The key to the Sky Tower area is on the way. What you see there will allow you to draw your own conclusions." Words are powerless. He wanted Zhang Yi and the others to see things for themselves. Those were all that he had witnessed firsthand over the past decades in his mechanical life form. He turned around, leaped down from between the gray and white buildings, and landed on a half-collapsed beam with a crisp metallic sound. Without the slightest hesitation, Zhang Yi and the others immediately followed. The core area is called Tonong Tower. Freeman walked and talked, drawing simple diagrams in the air with his fingertips. It's an isolated space. Perhaps it was a self-preservation mechanism set up when a civilization fell. Or perhaps it was for some other purpose, but I believe we can find all the answers we're looking for there. There is only one way to get into the Tower of Heavenly Prosperity. Find the key. It took me a long time, even risking being killed time and time again, to finally figure out where the key was. There are 3 guardians of civilization in the inner world, and each guardian possesses a key. Only by obtaining all 3 keys can the gate of the Heavenly Tower be opened. It's just that these guardians are very strong. Even though I became one of them, I didn't have a chance to get close to them. Guardian? Zhang Yi found it strange. If civilization is about to perish, what use are guardians? Ling glanced at Zhang Yi. Then what value do you think my existence has? Chapter 2590, 6 Guardian 2. Zhang Yi gave Ling an awkward smile. So, can someone who's been through this explain it to us? Ling replied, "No spatial barrier is perfect. No matter how well it is concealed, it will eventually be discovered." Zhang Yi suddenly realized, this is what you taught me before. When space is folded, there will definitely be wrinkles, which will be discovered and revealed. Back then, it was by finding that spatial node that the Tsongyuan clan's leader, Yitujier, located the Tianyu Palace. Ling replied, "The so-called guardian is just an insurance policy. Like a reinforcing screw, it may seem like a weakness, but in fact, its existence is to cover up a bigger weakness. Any space that is folded will eventually be exposed. It's impossible for it to be flawless." Upon hearing this, Zhang Yi suddenly took a deep breath. He has a swallowed compressed oxygen capsule in his abdomen that can continuously release oxygen suitable for the body's functions for 24 hours. But he still felt immense pressure. Because he once imagined that, as a top-tier spatial ability user, he might one day have the opportunity to create a space independent of the material world, where everyone could stay. However, it now seems that this method of folding space to create independent spaces is not perfect. Schubert's Serenade continued to play, and Freeman walked along, playing the music on his fingers. The large group followed him, heading towards the vast and dilapidated city of a lost civilization. Zhang Yi did not use spatial teleportation. He was not in a hurry at the moment. He needed to take the time to carefully observe this unknown world and avoid any potential crises. The city was not lifeless. He saw many strange plants growing from the cracks in the ruins amidst the steel jungle. They traveled quickly, and after a long time, a city of yellow sand appeared in front of them, like a large beast crouching in the wind. The tower's shadow curved into a circle, encircling a vast square half buried in yellow sand. Sand waves surged from the depths of the street, sweeping away the broken signs and revealing layers of metal skeletons cut open by the wind. Freeman raised his hand, warning everyone, "Be careful, there are quite a few guardians around here. Every time I come here, they chase me away." These guys used to be polite and courteous guard robots, maintaining order in the city. Now they've all become brutal. Zhang Yi had already fought against the sand sweeper machine, so he wasn't too surprised. Footsteps echoed on the sand, and suddenly a rustling sound reached my ears, as if something had come to life from beneath the sand. Rustle, rustle. Amidst the yellow sand dunes, one after another sand-sweeping machine appeared. Their shapes were different from those seen before. They were all humanoid mechanical life forms. Although there were some signs of rust on their bodies, they looked very exquisite, with milky white bodies. The guard robots, judging from their elegant forms, demonstrate that the Sandslayer civilization has a good sense of aesthetics. One after another, sand-sweeping machines emerged from the yellow sand. Their joints have gears that turn, their chests have cone-shaped cores, and their eyes have lenses that look like cold, green glass seeds. In addition to the humanoid guard robots, there are mechanical life forms that are over 5 meters tall and resemble tanks, and mechanical life forms that are over 10 meters long and have bodies like long snakes. Warning! Warning! Intruders spotted. Expel them immediately. The cold, mechanical sounds echoed from all directions. Crimson energy beams lit up their pupils, and then a large number of guard robots, wielding lightsaber-like weapons, charged towards the group. Their synchronized movements, even just a single charge, demonstrated their excellent teamwork, effectively blocking every escape route for the enemy. Uncle Yu stood on one side of the group. He took a step forward with his strong body, and the armor plates on his wrists opened with a click, to reveal one miniature laser cannon after another. His voice was steady. "Let me handle these troublesome guys."
Clang.
Liang Yu also drew her dragon roar longsword, her sharp gaze fixed on the surrounding guard robots. Zhang Yi didn't rush to make a move. He could sense that these mechanical life forms were extremely powerful, because when their core furnace started operating, the energy reaction values significantly exceeded those of the previous batch. These beings that appeared in the Sand City were all elite mechanical life forms from the Sand Raider civilization. Zhang Yi pressed down on the knife in his hand. "Freeman, is the guardian you mentioned also in this area?" Freeman smacked his forehead. "That's right, he's right here. That guy should be slumbering under the sand. Oh, you better watch out. That thing is terrifying. I've got it." Zhang Yi did not deal with the mechanical life forms himself, but left it to Uncle Yu and the others. Dealing with these is not difficult for them, given their capabilities. He didn't want to waste his special energy, nor did he want to rashly reveal his abilities. Zhang Yi sent Zhou Kuder back into the shadows, pressed down on Xinlian, and looked around. At this moment, more mechanical life forms jumped down from the high-rise buildings and defense towers, their armor instantly covered with hexagonal grids, which seemed to be a powerful energy shield. A silver-white guard robot raised its arm, and a beam of gray-white light shot out from its laser baton toward Uncle Yu. Frost immediately formed on the armor plates on Uncle Yu's shoulders. He jerked violently, shaking off the frost. "This thing can actually penetrate my defensive shield." Uncle Yu's face was full of surprise. The demonic armor he was wearing used a special shield against supernatural abilities from the Songyuan clan civilization. But this thing didn't seem to have much effect on the Sand Sweeper mechanical life forms. Just one encounter made them realize the power of the Sand Raider civilization. These guard robots are all as powerful as tank-level aliens. Is this what makes advanced civilizations so terrifying? Then let's fight. I'll show you just how powerful my modified body is. Uncle Yu raised his arms and firmly supported himself on the ground with his legs. The next moment, a series of crack, crack sounds rang out, and dozens of energy cannons of various sizes appeared all over his body, from his arms to shoulder armor to his waist and legs, and began a frenzied bombardment of the large number of Sand Raider machines surging around him.
Boom, 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 boom.
In an instant, the sound of energy cannons exploding rang out one after another. The guard robots of the Sandslayers, wielding laser batons, almost instinctively conjured shields composed of hexagonal energy modules from their bodies, placing them in front of them. After they withstood a barrage of attacks from Uncle Yu, although many of them were pushed back, most of them remained intact. Here ends today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive.
That's it
Thanks.
for today's chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises. Thank you.